Thank you, Alistair. Hello, everyone. So as Alistair was saying, I'm Keith from Compass Video. Just a quick introduction to who we are. We're a business storytelling agency that specializes in video, animation, photography, motion infographics, and on top of that, we're also a training provider and we're CPD certified. And this is a very toned down version of our smartphone video making workshop. So today we're going to aim to go through how you can make your content at home, the types of videos that you could consider doing, what Google have done with their algorithm, which is currently known as EAT and YMYL, a brief introduction to pieces of kit that you could buy, because Amazon are still delivering, thankfully. And then we're going to go through some phone setup tips to help your phone be your tool to make your content, some applications that are available, some basic introduction to composition, and also a very brief introduction to what is open source software and what is available to you if you don't have things like the Adobe Creative Cloud available to yourself. So we'll make a start. Now, a lot of people still think smartphone filmmaking or making a video with your phone isn't a serious way of making video. And I always introduce our workshop by saying you can now take it very seriously. It is something that's being done regularly. The BBC train their journalists how to make reports using their phones because it's not always convenient to have a cameraman following you 24/7 when news is 24/7. And as you can see here, this is an article that talks about the first feature-length film that was made using a Nokia smartphone as a bit of a publicity stunt for the Nokia smartphone. And also playing about with how far you can go. And I always like to show this picture for fun. If you were truly putting all this stuff together with your mobile phone, I would say just buy a camera, but you know, it just goes to show what you can plug into a phone now and how far you can take it. So the types of video that we can consider making when we're using our phone, I've listed here and I'll just go through them briefly. Customer referencing videos or testimonials are a good one right now. While you're having a conference call with some of your clients, if they're really happy with you and they like you and they want to leave you a review, as well as maybe a Facebook review or a Google review, you could request while you're on a conference call, can I just video you saying nice things about our meeting? And you can use PowerPoint, for example, to do that. If you have PowerPoint now has a screen recording function. If you go into PowerPoint, go into the help and just type screen record, you could then use that to record your screen of the person who is giving you a nice testimonial. Now is a good time to promote any events you have planned around September, October time. Touch wood, these should still be going ahead. So you can start making some videos that are like introducing what your event is and what you'll be doing at your event and who's attending your event, because videos are watched more than just a standard text post. How to explain a videos is what the internet was made for. So right now, if you offer a service, making a how-to or an explainer video is something that will get you a lot of attention right now because people are at home with needing to find things to do, and one of the things they're Googling or binging is how do I do this, how do I do that? So if you have something in that you can make, set your phone up, video yourself explaining something, and that is good content that you can use for your clients and to get attention to yourself. Frequently asked questions. If you're a business that offers a service or an object that people can buy from you, more often than not, you'll always have that person that doesn't quite understand what they're doing when they're going through your purchasing cycle, and they might have a question, and they'll either email it to you or phone you. And one of the ways you can lessen that from happening, because obviously every phone call is impacting on your time, is by creating a frequently asked questions video. And what you can do is study your analytics and how people are emailing you and calling you with these frequently asked questions to make the most common ones and put them on your website, so that if someone has that question, they'll no longer email you, so you have to respond, or call you. User-generated content, UGC, is a very useful one. When you're doing things right, people will start making content about you for you, and you can take advantage of that. So companies who have a product to offer can invite social media personalities to review their product. It can backfire, and they can be very negative about you. But user-generated content is a good one to aim for. If you'll know when it starts working, you just suddenly get these people saying how great you are without you even asking. Sorry, I thought someone was asking then. Keep in touch videos. Keep in touch is just a way of, instead of sending someone an email, you could send them a tailored video message saying, "Hi X, I just wanted to get in touch to see how you're doing and to talk about a product that we've got that might interest you." It adds a little bit more of a personal touch. Corporate videos is your bog standard one, where but that takes a little bit more doing with your phone, but it can be done. But that's if some of you are feeling a bit more confident. Product demonstrations is another good one. If you have a product and you want to do a box opening of your product, they're very popular on YouTube. If you haven't seen them before, just put box opening videos into YouTube. You'll see hundreds of them. It's very bizarre, but people like them. And then you can get your product out of its box and discuss it and demonstrate how it works. Internal communications and keeping in touch quite go hand in hand, as well as to your clients, your staff. It's a good way to add a personal touch to keeping in touch with your staff. If you're using things like MailChimp, you can make a video and embed it into your newsletter and send that out to everyone, and that statistics say that newsletters with videos have more engagement than without. And also, now's a good time to give stuff away. If you have product that you spare, do a competition. Announce it with a video, saying what people can win, show them what they can win, talk about your product, and also talk about where they can buy it, and announce that on different social medias and get some attention around your business and your product. So what do we mean by EAT and YMYL? Google released the EAT algorithm, which means expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And this basically means the stuff that you're putting on your website needs to be relevant to your business. You need to be proven to be an expert in your field, and need to not basically be lying about what you're doing. The reason they've done this is to get rid of clickbait and fake websites. So rich media like videos, animations, photography, things like that are a good way of improving your EAT, and getting your clients to write reviews about you and do testimonials for you. All this can help improve it. I've done a blog post about it if you wanted to find out more on my website, and also it's in the Somerset Voice magazine this month. YMYL is an important one to know about. It means your money, your life. If you blog about health, mental health, medicines, finance, anything like that, and you're not an expert in it, or you're not somebody who has any qualifications in it, or you've not got any evidence to back up what you're saying that you are an authoritative figure in this, it's detrimental to your SEO. They don't want people finding stuff that is negative to mental health and financial health and all kinds of things. So they're negatively impacting people who are not seen as experts in their field, talking about something they shouldn't be talking about. So coronavirus could be an example of that. If you're blogging about coronavirus and you're trying to give advice to people, and you're not a medical expert, I would advise against doing that. If you wanted to talk about something in coronavirus, maybe just say what your business is doing and leave it at that, nothing else. And there's more. You can find out more about these two algorithms by reading on Google or finding out googling Google Eat and YMYL. And another thing to do right now, while you've got some time free, is a bit of housekeeping on your Google business profiles. Make sure that all of these, which are Google Images, Google My Business, which is links to Google Maps, your YouTube account, your blog posts, are all sat under the same umbrella. So if you use Google Search Console with Google Analytics, all of that is linked together. So a lot of times when businesses ask me to just do a quick review of what they've got, I often find that their YouTube account is on one username, their Google My Business is in another username, their analytics linked to their website is in a third username, and because they're all not interlinked, you're not getting a benefit from all of them. So it all needs to be interlinked together for you to get the benefit from it, from your search rankings, and to see how you're doing. So that's a good housekeeping thing to do right now, is ensure all your usernames and everything are not usernames, sorry, all your accounts are under one roof. Okay, so technical bits. We'll just discuss bits of kit that you could buy to help. And like I said, Amazon is delivering still, so you could pick it up. In this image, you can see there's a little tripod on the table at the bottom. Attached to that tripod is another little head with a ball mount on it. Attached to that is a bar, and on that bar I've put a microphone, an LED light, a phone clamp, and a phone clamp holder. And that way, when I put this on a desk in front of me, I'm using the microphone, which sillily in that picture isn't plugged in, whoops. I'm using the microphone to improve the audio, the light to make my face brighter. The camera is held still, so it's not wobbling. And I can then position that effectively to ensure that the video that I'm taking is as good as it can be from a mobile phone. Now, you can spend little to as much as you want on these bits and pieces. The LED light in this picture is an LED light that I actually use on some of my other cameras, and that's an expensive branded one, and you can get a similarly non-branded, so that one I think is over £100, but you can get a similarly non-branded one for around £20 on Amazon. And we put them side by side, turn them both on, and they're as bright as each other. So, you know, I can't guarantee that the £20 one would last as long as a £100 one, but the point I'm making is you don't have to spend as much, a small fortune on the bits and pieces. The only thing to be mindful of with the lights is I've noticed when trawling through it to find a kit list, sometimes they don't come with batteries, and they catch you out by making the lights seem nice and cheap, and then the batteries, which are special for that particular light, cost a lot of money. So just keep an eye out for the light that you're buying and make sure it comes with batteries, or the batteries aren't very expensive. Microphones, that one is a branded microphone. You don't have to get a branded microphone. You can get the one that I tend to recommend to people is they're about £10. Is a lapel microphone with about a 10 meter wire that you can then plug into an audio jack. These are readily available. You just search for mobile phone lapel mic and you should see loads of them come up. The only thing to be aware of is there's a period of time where mobile phone manufacturers were experimenting with taking the audio jack off of mobile phones, and now some have put them back on again and some haven't. So if your mobile phone doesn't have an audio jack, you'll need to get the USB-C to audio jack adapter. Some phones do come with them when you buy them, some don't. Just, you know, do find out these bits and pieces before you buy them, and then it's just a case of plugging it in. The more modern phones do automatically detect that. Some older phones you might need to use a third-party app that we'll talk about in a minute to tell your phone to use the microphone. And then mobile phone clamps, they're not very expensive. You can spend a couple of pounds on them to £10 on them, depending on whether you get a branded one or not. And then the little tripods, again, you can spend £2, £3 on them to £50 on them, depending on what you buy. So it's all down to your budget, how much you want to spend, but there's a minimum I'd recommend getting the tripod and the mobile phone holder. If you can stretch to it, a microphone and a light will be a big help as well. Okay, so this is an example of a BBC journalist, and we're going to talk about top 5 tips. And if I go back to my picture, you'll see in a minute how there's a few mistakes in this image as well. So when I talk about top 5 tips, I always introduce my training in this way. You need to basically think that you're turning your mobile phone into a video camera. Now, it is first primary function, and you can argue about that if you like, but its first primary function and how smartphones are started when they're put on a drawing board is it's a phone first, and everything else is then built on top of the phone. So you're turning your phone into a video camera. So the first one to think about is the battery life of your phone. So if you've been on a train and you've been pootling away all morning to get to an event, and you turn up at your event, you might have drained your battery quite a lot, so that when you actually find this special client that you want to get a testimonial from and hit record, your phone dies on you. So always check that your battery is charged. The other thing you could do is carry a power pack with you, so that if your battery is running low, you can plug your power pack in to give it a little boost to make sure you can do the videoing. The only thing there to remember is if you've got a power pack, remember to charge your power pack. The second one is the storage space on your phone. Now, depending on your phone of lower, middle range or higher range, some phones may not have a lot of storage space on them, and videoing takes up a lot of storage space. So again, being at the event with your special client that you're getting your testimonial from, you've got the right amount of battery, but then you press record and there's no space. So you have to go and delete a load of things. So it's always getting good habits when you're working with video is record your video, edit your video, deliver your video, delete the footage off your phone, or get it off of your phone and back it up on your computer, so that you're getting good habits. You get out of bad habits of having too much stuff stored on your phone. The next one is turning your phone horizontally, not vertically. So as you can see in this BBC cameraman just here, he's got his phone vertically. So when that gets sent to the newsroom, on either side of his the video that he's making there'll be black screens, which doesn't look as good as if your phone's horizontally. The next one after turning it horizontally, which I said is you can see the mistake I've made on that one, my phone's horizontally instead of vertically. The next one to think about is turn your phone's airplane mode on, because you don't want to be at your event with enough battery and enough space on your phone with it turned horizontally to then be videoing your special client and your phone rings, or you get a text message and it spoils your video that you're doing. So turn your phone on airplane modes to avoid any interruptions. And then the final one is the correct camera. So again, on this one, again, it's the phone is the wrong way round. And on here, and I especially love this, is he's even got a little lens on the proper camera, which is on the back of your phone, and he's talking into the selfie camera on the front. Whoops, sorry, we've gone ahead one. And the manufacturers of phones have spent a lot of money designing and researching and building the phone on the back to be as good as it can be for most people to then use the selfie camera on the front and wonder why it's not as good quality as the manufacturers advertise. So that's why I do like this image, because I took a snap of my television with this journalist recording it, and he clearly is ignoring most of his training. So he's holding the tripod instead of placing it somewhere. He's using the camera on the front instead of on the back. His phone is vertical, and he's just not really doing what he's probably been taught to do, which I find quite amusing whenever I see that image. Okay, so we're just going to quickly talk about photography tips in case you don't fancy doing video but you want to improve your photography. Composition. Composition is essentially how you frame your image. And the best way to think about framing an image is where people's eyes go in terms of business. This isn't in terms of you being arty or wanting to do something personally. This is purely business. So as you can see in this image here, this area of the frame, which is the place where most people's eyes look first. So if you're trawling through LinkedIn timelines, Facebook timelines, or Twitter timelines, you want people to have as higher percentage of looking at your thing first. And engaging with your thing. So you want to frame it in such a way that you have the most chance of that happening. So using the rule of thirds, which is if you put this grid across your screen, it breaks the frame up into 9 blocks, and that's your rule of thirds. And positioning things in the rule of thirds gives a more visual image, and putting the thing that you want most focused on in these spots here on the left will give you a higher chance of your image or video being spotted before someone swipes past it on the timeline. Apps that can help you with your photography there's one called Snapseed by Google, and that's the logo, and that's Snapseed. Snapseed is available on Apple and Android, and it's a really, really good image manipulation tool that can help make your photos look more professional. Don't overdo it, because fake filtered to hell pictures look bad, but you can do quite a lot to your images and still look like you haven't done anything to them. And then if you've got a medium to lower end Android phone, you can use something called Open Camera, and this will unlock a lot of features that your otherwise in-phone camera app doesn't have. So if you go on the Play Store to download that one, iPhones generally have good cameras, so you don't need a third-party app, just use the iPhone app. And then videography, same deal with the rule of thirds and framing. But when it comes to apps, if you've got an iPhone and you originally deleted iMovie because you thought you would never use it, now's the time to reinstall it, because it's a very good video editor on your iPhone. So I'd recommend you go back onto the App Store and download iMovie, or if you've got it still on your iPhone, open it up, have a look, put some videos into it, see what you can do, because you'll be surprised what you can make using your iMovie. On Android, the app that I've played about with and are happy with in terms of similarity to iMovie, and it does some things better, some things worse, is UCut. and that's the symbol for it, YOUCUT. And it's a very good app. You don't have a watermark, it's free, you don't have to pay for it, and you'll be surprised again what you can do in terms of editing a video using UCUT. Okay, and then a quick guide to framing yourselves when making a video. So if you had your video on your desk, your phone on your desk, horizontally, recording yourself talking. If you're doing a discussion, introduction to your business, a client testimonial, a promo video, anything like that, you generally want to have the figure sat in this area, looking off camera, and leaving enough gap here so you can put text, titles, logos, anything you want. We don't need to explain why this happens. It's just this is generally how videos are done at the moment. It's the fashionable thing. It's what people like. So think about the positioning of the person that you want to video and position them in this kind of way using your phone. And again, this is the composition thing, that if they're on this side, it's statistically more likely to be spotted by someone trawling through their timeline on social media. If they're doing somebody looking straight at the camera, don't stick them straight in the middle. Offset them, or offset yourself a tiny bit. And the reason you do that is so that you've got space to put your titles and your graphics. So it just makes your videos look a little bit better if you've got space for that and it's not going over yourself. So now we'll just quickly talk about open source software. This is for people who want to take the next steps from just doing stuff in their phone using UCUT or iMovie, or just doing photos using Snapseed. You can take the stuff off of your phone and put them on your computer. If your business has given you a Creative Cloud account, I am not saying these things are better than Creative Cloud. Carry on using Creative Cloud, but what I am saying is that there are free tools available if you've got there are free tools available if you don't have the budget to subscribe to Creative Cloud or buy other editing or image editing tools that are available. So a good one for Photoshop is GIMP or Krita. Careful when you Google GIMP. That stands for Graphic Image Manipulation Protocol. Not sure. P. Can't remember. Yeah, they're very, very good for editing images. For Premiere, there's one called HitFilm, which I like to use. And you just have to make sure that when you search for it, search for HitFilm Express free, because they do a professional version that you pay for, but you don't need it. You can do quite a lot with the free version. And then the other one of note, depending on how far you want to go with teaching yourself a new skill, is Blender. Blender is absolutely fantastic. You could make something like Toy Story using that, but it's very difficult. So that's totally up to you. Okay, so I think we're nearly overrunning, so I apologise. I've been waffled on a bit too long, but there's my contact details should you have wish to get in touch with me, and pass it back to Alistair for managing the questions part.
Excellent. Right, thank you very much. I don't know about anybody else, but I've written down an awful lot there in terms of ideas that have come up, you know, maybe things for video, that first couple of slides that you had there, Keith, around what we can use video for, certainly give me a whole load of other options and things to look at. Did anyone have any questions? I've got a question here about any tips for editing using iMovie. I don't know if that's something that you use, Keith, at the moment.
Yeah, so I see that one. iMovie depends on which one they're using. iMovie on their phone or iMovie on their Mac. So if you've, there we are, either, perfect. So the good thing about iMovie using an iPhone, and if you have a Mac at home as well, is when you start editing in iMovie, there's an option in there to send that to your computer, and then you can continue editing it on your computer. So you can do the basics on your phone and then do the more advanced stuff on your computer. And what I mean by that is, remember, you've got to think about when you make your video to work within the limitations of your phone. Your phone isn't a computer. So it can't do as advanced things as a computer. And one example of that is if you wanted to do someone talking as like being interviewed, and while they're being interviewed, you then have some video footage to then go away to or cut away to play while they're still talking. You can't at the moment do that in iMovie. There is a way you can do that in UCut. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you can't do that at the moment in iMovie. So what you have to think about is a natural break in their talking. You could then maybe put in a few seconds of video footage and then go back. So there's that option. And then, or you could get all the interviewing bits edited on your phone, and then when you get home, put it onto your computer, and then in your computer, that's when you can do something to cut away to. So that's how I would say working with iMovie. It is good, and there are some good things you can do, but you just need to remember you work within the limitations of your phone.
Yeah. Okay. Good advice. And the alternative to using iMovie or something like an Android, would that be the
Yeah, so the person who said Howie P Smart 2019, Wowie even, I've got a Wowie Mate 10 Pro, and I use UCut on that, and you'd be surprised what you can do using UCut.
I've actually just downloaded UCut and Snapseed whilst we've been on here, so I'll be playing with it as well. In terms of adding captions, I know that's something that can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. Good question from Linda.
Yeah, so iMovie that you could do it. It would take you. It would be a very fiddly, but you can do it within iMovie using the text, and you just have to keep positioning the text when the people are talking and type it in. You could do it in UCut again as well, but it would be very fiddly. One of the easiest ways to do your captions would be Google Pixel Fan. One of the ways of doing the captions I would recommend to everybody is upload your video to YouTube as unlisted, let YouTube auto-generate the captions for you, then correct the captions in YouTube, and then download the video with the captions on it. That would be the easiest way of doing it within your phone.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know that we've had some videos in the past that we've captioned, and it takes ages to try and get the sentences to change at the right time on the screen with the text and everything else. So that's advice. Yeah, I hadn't even occurred to me. Let YouTube do the hard work there.
Yeah, I will warn you though that YouTube will get it wrong 90% of the time. At least the work is there, and all you've then got to do is correct what it's the random things that it's thought you've said.
But better to have it there and correctable than have to type it in and
yeah, exactly.
Think it with what's going on. Okay, brilliant. I don't know if anybody else had any other questions. There's nothing else forthcoming at the moment, but I mean, certainly, as I say, you know, the Somerset Chamber in a position where we need to be thinking about how we use that EAT categorization, certainly on Google. That was very interesting to understand. I can think of all the different Google accounts that we've got operating on different platforms as well. So that can be part of my admin when I get a few minutes. And certainly,
have you read Somerset Voice yet?
Sorry, say again.
I'm just plugging. Have you read Somerset Voice yet?
Do you know what? I do read it because we produce it. So.
That's what I said. That's why I was asking you. Yeah. That's what I said. My Google Eat article's in there this month.
Excellent, brilliant. That is worth mentioning. The Somerset Voice magazine. If you normally get that through to your desk at work, we've published it on our website as well as it's just gone to print. We appreciate that quite a lot of people are not going to be in the office at the moment. So by all means, if you want to have a look at that, it is on the website. It'll be on the Somerset Chamber site, and it's under the news section, which is on the far right hand side under Chamber Magazine. And there's a piece from Keith on there about linking all your Google accounts together. There's some great app suggestions there as well, so thank you very much. I think probably what we need to do is go away and have a bit of a play with this now. There's all sorts of options that we've got. So I'd just like to say thank you again to Keith from Compass Video, and I'm sure that all the other people in the chat would like to say thank you as well. Keith has been recording this, and we'll be sharing it onto our website as well. So if you missed any points, you can always go back and have a look. That should be up within the next couple of hours or so. Any questions at all? Obviously, you've got Keith's details there. Just like to say thank you very much.
No problem. You're welcome. Hope everyone enjoyed it and found it useful.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and all stay safe and well. See you soon.
Take care. Bye.